This is a guy that you're going to want to talk to after the show. I'm quite sure. His name is Nick Brandel. Nick is a teacher of special ed math in Oshkosh. And he is coming up right here. Make him feel welcome. Put your hands together. Put them apart. Put them together again. Here you go, Nick. You're welcome, sir.
Holy cow, I'd ask how everybody... Oh, you turned it off. Any warning.
Just like the women, I turn them off.
I'd ask how everybody's doing, but Greg covered that. We're doing good. That's fine. I'm going to address the elephant in the room right now. It started as soon as I walked in. I saw the looks. I heard the people talking. Yes, the glasses don't match the face, do they? They're too small. For this big fat Irish head, they don't. No, the pants are a conscious decision. I did not lose a bet. I surfed the worldwide interwebs. I scrolled down. I saw these, and I said, "Stop drilling. You have hit oil. We are good. Take my credit card information. Send these to me as fast as you can." Do you believe that the bowling alley was going to get rid of this carpet? They were just going to throw it away, and I'm like, no, I can do something with that. I am a teacher, like Greg and Chris that'll be coming up after me. I live in Oshkosh, but I am from a city called Manitowoc, Wisconsin. Has anyone ever heard of Manitowoc? Yep. Okay. I'm guessing you've heard of us because of the shipbuilding tradition during World War II and Sputnik, a piece of Russian Sputnik fell, and it's in 8th Street by the, you didn't hear, was it the murder documentaries? Was it Netflix with the murder? Yeah, we're real proud of that there in Manitowoc. We were all interested in watching that, and I said documentaries because it's plural. They had to make two. And we were so proud of that, and we watched it, and anyone that is from Manitowoc watched that documentary for about 36 seconds. It said, "Son of a bitch." This is how the world is going to think about us. They think an actual phone conversation is, "Yeah? Okay. Yeah? All right. No? Okay." And that was a time, that was a place, that was a destination. Not even fucking Manitowoc Minute Guy can save us. That's who we are to America at this point. But I'm glad we're here because this is the first live comedy I've done since August. Yeah, and that was a show that I booked before the shit hit the fan about a year ago. And it was really weird doing it in front of an audience where there was like a third empty theater with like, there's don't sit here. There's 1,000 cases in the United States. We're all going to die, and it's escalated since then. But I'm glad Bruno contacted me and said, do this show. And I had like 6 weeks to prepare. And I'm like, I'm going to do this. I wrote everything down and then I practiced it. I'm like, we're going to get a good, tight 20 minutes on stage, and then I had to blow the fuck up out of everything because I went to work yesterday. Now, as a high school public special education math teacher, my days are fun. That's the word I'm going to use, is fun. And my day yesterday started out like any other normal day that I've ever had this year. I go to a door where I pick up a student, where his parents drop him off. He needs a little extra help getting to his classroom first hour and getting organized and everything. And I talk to him. I'm like, I'm going to call him Danny. It's not his real name. I don't use real names of students unless I hate them. We'll get to that later. But so Danny, I'm like, Danny, how was your night last night? Did you watch basketball? Because he loves watching basketball. I'm like, I watch basketball. And that's seriously how he talks. It's absolutely adorable. And then we're walking down the hallway, and Danny lets out a sneeze. Like a thick, heavy sneeze. Like the lung butter was coming out, Yeah, and it just went in. And the only way I can describe it is sneezing with a mask on is like shitting your pants on your face. And it was, you heard it. It was deep, it was guttural, it was very white bass. And whatever picture you have in your head of what was inside that mask is correct. Whatever picture you have is correct. So I have to take them to the bathroom, and I'm like, okay, we have to take your mask off now, and you're just like, yeah, okay, here's a new man, we're gonna wipe this off, we're gonna do that, everything's gonna be fine. Great way to start Friday. Then I get back to my room, and there's a student waiting there for me. So, Mr. Brando, can we go over this test? I bombed this test, I want to do a retake. I'm like, yeah, I'm free third hour today, stop by. I have a meeting at 10 o'clock, so stop by at 10:10. He's like, oh, okay, I'll totally do that. So I'm teaching my second hour class, and at 9:50, this kid walks in. And I'm like, dude, Jake, and that's his name because I hate him. I'm like, dude, Jake, what are you doing? You're 20 minutes early. He's like, what, but you said you wanted to meet at 10:10. I'm like, yeah, what do you, just sit down, okay? I have to finish this class, then I'll have my meeting, we'll go over the test. And it didn't dawn on me for a couple of minutes. All of our clocks in school are analog clocks. And no one born after 1999 can read a fucking analog clock. So he walked in at 9:50. That's when both hands are on the 10. He thought that was 10:10. And I'm like, that is, at the same time, that is unbelievably adorable. And it makes me wonder how you remember to breathe on a regular basis to keep yourself alive. That is the cutest and dumbest thing I've ever seen combined in my whole life. But the big part of the night was 7th hour. Another colleague of mine is like, I have to go pick up my sick kid from their school. He like puked all over the place. Can you take my 7th hour? I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. It's Friday. I don't give a shit anymore. There's bourbon in my desk. And she left her notes and said, subnotes, we start the period every day with something called What's Your Favorite? One student will ask the class, what is your favorite? And then like song or food or movie, and everyone has to answer it. Sam is the person that's asking today. So I did that, and Sam got up in front of the class, and everyone just wants to go home because it's 7th hour. And Sam, without hesitating, I want to ask everyone, what's your favorite toilet? And like the sound of the record screeching to a stop wasn't audible, but we all heard it at that point, and we were all laughing. It's like, what kind of question is that? Everyone's laughing, and it's like, favorite toilet? No one has a favorite toilet. We need another question because nobody has a favorite. And then it got quiet, and everyone realized we have a favorite toilet. You're thinking about it right now. What's your favorite toilet? And one student said, okay, I'll go first. We have 2 bathrooms in our house, and I go to the bathroom upstairs because it's the big bathroom, and there's a lot of space, and I like to have a lot of space when I'm going to the bathroom. I'm like, that's cool. You might be doing it wrong, and you might want to see a gastroenterologist if you need that big of a base when you're going to the bathroom, but awesome. Second student says, my favorite bathroom is the closest bathroom. That's a practical answer, right? Because wherever you go, you need a plan. Because all of us here remember the last time that we shit our pants, right? Because you didn't know where a bathroom was. I have a favorite bathroom. There was a bathroom at Fox City Stadium when I worked for the Timber Rattlers. It was the staff and media bathroom. There was a fucking TV in there. They had the individual, there were like the mints and the lotions and stuff. I'm like, this is a great bathroom. And if there's anything that happens tonight on the drive home, I want conversation between whoever you're driving home with about what your favorite bathroom is, because you all know what it is. And my fingers crossed, my hope is that there's an argument that ensues between 2 of you on the way home about what your favorite bathroom is. Because someone's going to be like, what's wrong with the bathroom at my parents' house? You don't like that? They just remodeled it. They just installed marble on the floor. You don't like my parents? I knew you never loved me. I'm never talking to you again. If you couldn't tell, I'm not married. I don't have any kids. I am single. What is dating like for that, you ask? Well, let me tell you. 3 years ago, a friend of mine said, I'm going to set you up with this person. This is going to be good. You two are going to hit it off. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. You know, I'm like 37 years old. I teach. I have my summers off. I golf every day during the summer. Why would I want to fucking ruin my life and get married? Fair point. And he's like, I already gave her your number. She's going to call you because she knows you have Monday night off. Fair enough. So she calls and says, well, what do you want to do? I don't want to do a dinner and a movie. That's too cliche. She's like, I have a great idea. The bar I go to on Monday nights, red flag. The bar I go to on Monday nights has trivia. Let's go do that. And I said, bad idea. 2 reasons. 1, I'm very competitive. 2, I'm a huge fucking dork. So there's so much knowledge in this muy grande cabeza that I have here. It's going to be absolutely unattractive when you hear the things that I know. She's like, no, let's do that. So we talked for a while, and then we compromised. And we did her idea and went to the bar to do trivia. So we get there, and there's teams of like university professors and all this going on. Like, just have fun. Just have fun. You'll never talk to this woman again. You can go golfing tomorrow. It's going to be great. So after a couple rounds, we're in 3rd place. Things are going well, right? She answered all the Disney questions and all the Sex and the City questions, and I answered everything else. And then it comes to the final round. You have to wager points to see if you're going to win. And she's like, we should play it safe and just bet 0 and see if we can get 3rd place and get that $10 gift certificate to the bar. And I'm like, bitch, go big or go home. Let's fucking wager these points. Let's see what the category is. So they said the category is world leaders. The question is, I'm going to give you 4 names of American presidents. You have to give me the middle names of those presidents. Harry S. Truman, Ulysses S. Grant, James K. Polk, and Warren G. Harding. She is writing 0 in the wager category as I smack the fucking pen out of her hand. I'm writing down 20 and I'm writing down the answers. I'm biting my tongue as I'm going. Harry S. Truman was born without a middle name, of course, but when he was running for president in 1948, his campaign manager is like, you just followed FDR, whose name is all fucking initials, so we might as well get you a middle initial. It's going to be S. Harry S. Truman rolls off the tongue. We're losing in the polls to Thomas Dewey. We're going to fucking beat him. Harry S. Truman it is. Ulysses S. Grant was born Hiram Ulysses Grant in Galena, Illinois. He signed up for the Army when he got his commission to West Point. The man wrote down his name wrong as U.S. Grant, and he's like, I'm joining the fucking Army. What better initials are there than U.S. fucking Grant? He signs up there, goes to the Mexican War, goes to the Civil War, leads our troops, wins, becomes president. James K. Polk was from a family that was from the East Coast, the Knox family. Everyone in their family had the middle name of Knox because it was the name of the guy that found in Knoxville, Tennessee, so that's why his middle name is Knox, and everyone knows that Warren G. Harding's middle name is Gamaliel. Write it down, hand it up, let's fucking go! We were the only team to get all 4 of them right. We were the only team to wager points. We fucking won, right? Victory is ours! Until she stood up from her bar stool, grabbed her purse, looked at me and said, wow, you are a fucking dork, and left. Now you say, oh, but remember, we just won a $50 bar tab. And she decided she was going to buy the first round of drinks, and in her haste to be a total fucking bitch and walk off, left her debit card at the bar. I knew the bartender, and he walked up to me and said, guess what, Captain? You're drinking free the rest of the night. So there's a fucking victory right there. All of you are, we have any farmers here? Anybody grew up on a farm? Okay. You're all gonna lose a bet right now. I'm a farm boy. If my father saw me dressed like this right now, he would kick my ass all over the stage. But for anyone, has anyone ever worked on a farm at any point in their life? Everyone's, I fucking worked on a farm. So a lot of people say, well, I could tell you're a farm boy. It's your work ethic. At school, you do anything we need, we do that. Your work ethic is because you're a farm boy. I'm like, no, my work ethic here is because if I don't work hard, I'm going to get fired from my job, and I'm going to have to go back to the fucking farm to work. That's the last thing I'm going to want to do at this point, right? Who wants to do that? When I was growing up, I thought, oh my God, I just want to milk cows. That would be the coolest thing in the world. I'm a little kid. Let me milk cows. That'll be great. And my dad was like, okay, we'll get you going. And he gave me the wash bucket, and I got to wash cows sometimes. I'm like, this is the coolest fucking thing in the world. I can't wait to tell everyone at school. And then he's like, okay, you can put the milkers on these cows here a couple times. And it was great. And then slowly but surely he just built up. And then one day he was on a volunteer fire department. And he's like, oh my God, there's a fire. I gotta go. You're in charge. I'm like 11 years old. I'm like, oh my God, this is the big moment. I can do this. So I milked all the cows the rest of the time. He comes back and he's like, wow, you did a pretty good job. Everything you did right. I checked everything in the milk house. It was great. And you want to know what happened every fucking morning at 4 o'clock the rest of my life until I went to college? My dad never milked cows in the morning again. That sly son of a bitch just did the planning so that he never had to do that again. That's a smart fucking dude right there. The other thing about growing up on a farm that I learned going to a public high school in Manitowoc was there were words that I did not know. Even though I was a pretty smart kid, there were words that I did not know. One of those words was vacation. Because if you grow up on a farm, there is no thing as vacation. There were friends of mine that were gone for 2 weeks, and I'm like, oh my God, is Sarah dead? She hasn't been to school in 2 weeks. And then she came back. I'm like, Sarah, my God, where did you go? Oh, I went on vacation to Florida. What does that mean? Well, we got in the car and we visited my grandparents down in Florida, and we went to like Disney World and stuff, and to the beach. I'm like, what? Did your parents work during that time? What did you? No, we were on vacation. Well, how did you fucking survive if your parents aren't working every day, getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning and milking the cows and baling the hay and hauling manure? It's like it's vacation. You get that. You don't have to work weekends either. What? Your parents don't fucking work weekends? You know what vacation was for me? Growing up on a farm, there was one time from Manitowoc, we drove from Manitowoc to Appleton, Wisconsin to go to the Fox River Mall. We loaded up the 1978 Plymouth Volare with a slant 6 engine. That was a fucking car right there, if you talk to me. Yeah, that guy knows right there. Because my sister had one leg shorter than the other one, so she had to get orthotics in her shoes. And if you've ever been to Manitowoc, Wisconsin, you know there are not doctors that are capable enough to do that. We had to drive to another city to get inserts for her fucking shoes. So we drove to the mall, and that was awesome. Oh my God. We went there, and my mom got some stuff for work, and my dad got some new work boots, and my sister got her orthotics, and my other sister got like a dress that she got, and since I'm the youngest, I got fucking nothing. It was great. That was a great day driving back and forth, right? And then people complain about vacations. Like I had friends that were like, oh my God, we went to Disney World, and as soon as we got there, I was walking in, and a bird pooped on my shoulder. And it was awful. It was the worst thing in the world. It ruined my entire 2 weeks there. I'm like, you know what I had to do last week? I had to pick rocks. What does that mean? It's pretty self-fucking-explanatory right there. You get a wagon, you go into a field, you see a rock, you pick it up, you put it on the wagon. And your 78-year-old grandfather is on the tractor pointing out the rocks that you missed. That's all I did all day. You had a bird poop on your shoulder? I would have loved for a bird to poop on my shoulder while I was picking rocks so I would have some fucking sustenance. And, oh, God. Oh, finally I get to eat something. This is great. I would rather have that. Holy shit. Holy bird shit. But my grandfather was a farmer his entire life. And then when he got into his 70s, he stopped farming. But he came over and he helped us all the time on my dad's farm. And we loved when Grandpa came over. We'd be like, oh, Grandpa, how's it doing? How's your day going? He's like, well, same thing as every day. I wake up in the morning, I make myself a breakfast, and I drive over here to your dad's farm, and I help him doing whatever he needs to do during the day, and then your mom makes a great lunch for us. And then we go back out and we work some more until your dad has to milk cows in the afternoon, and then I go home, and I have myself a little bit of dinner, and I get ready to go out dancing with my friends at the supper club, and then I come home and go to bed, and then I pray to God I don't wake up in the morning. I'm like, dude, that's a really weird thing to say to an 8-year-old, man. I'm like, why does Grandpa want to die? We love Grandpa. Why would he want to do that? I know Grandma died a few years ago, but that can't be that bad. Why would you want to die? And then I turned 40, and I'm like, I get it. You go to work every day. If I were not to wake up tomorrow, I'd be totally okay with that. But it's just a weird thing to say to an 8-year-old. Grandpa on my other side of the family, my mom's dad, was he was in World War II. And I had this thought the other day when I was watching lunch. I had lunch supervision. And I thought about my grandpa because he went into the army in World War II. He got sent overseas, went into Europe. He was a paratrooper. On D-Day, he was launched behind enemy lines and landed, was scattered from his troops. He went and walked all over the forest to find his unit on what was later found to be a broken ankle. They went, did what they needed to do. He fought in the Argonne Forest, and then he liberated a concentration camp. This was at 18 years old. And I was thinking that as I was watching a sophomore kid in the lunchroom take a water bottle that was 1/3 full, and he grabbed it from the top, and he flipped it in the air so it made one 360-degree revolution, and it landed back on the table. And he did that not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 consecutive times in a row. And his friends were so impressed, and they were videotaping it with their phones. One of the kids took a boat full of mashed potatoes and gravy and smashed it in his own face. So you tell me, what generation is the greatest generation? These kids are gonna fucking surprise us someday, I'm telling you that right now. I'm gonna end on this story. My dad was drafted into Vietnam into high school. This is another great story, little sidetrack, but Manitowoc, Wisconsin, the high school, Lincoln High School, has a formal graduation outdoors in a bowl, and everyone is wearing, formal gear and stuff, and you practice the day before. And my dad knew he was going into Vietnam, and his buddy sitting next to him was going there as well. And this was in 1967. So the night before, they found their seats, and they dug holes in the ground, and they put a 6-pack of beer in those holes. And they got their diploma, and they came back, and they dug up the 6 packs of beer, and I'm like, I have never been prouder to be your son in my life. It's such a legendary fucking story. But my dad had a buddy that went to Vietnam, and his name was Dennis Drill. We called him Driller. This guy was fucking psychotic. He got drafted into Vietnam, came back and said, you know what? I'm gonna go back. He volunteered to go back. He was shot 4 times. They were able to remove 3 of the bullets because one of them was too close to his spine that if they operated on it, he would become paralyzed. This guy was a biker. He would get in bar fights all the time. He'd go outside, take his shirt off, and say, one rule, you can punch me anywhere you want, but don't punch me right here because there is a Viet Cong bullet near my spine that's going to paralyze me. Who the fuck is going to fight that guy? This guy was married 6 times, okay? And he would come and help us bale hay. That tells you how fucking psychotic this guy was, right? But one day, myself and my cousin, we were up in the haymow with Driller, and he looked at us and said, guys, I'm going to tell you one thing. I've been married 6 times. If you're lucky enough that someone is going to tell you that they love you, as soon as you can start, make a bank account, a savings account that you can put some money in here and there. And if you decide to get married, you're going to have enough money there that you can buy a ring, you can pay for a wedding, you can go on a honeymoon, you can have a down payment on a house, but you don't want to be in debt when you're that young. If you're so lucky that someone says they're going to love you for the rest of your life, start that bank account. And I started that bank account when I was 11 years old. And I kept putting money in there year after anything I could get. I started my first job. I got out of college. I put money in there, and it kept growing and growing and growing and growing until I was 38 years old. And I looked at the money in that account, and I said, Driller was a smart man. Another thing I can tell you, the 2017 Lincoln MKZ is one hell of a sports sedan. Sport suspension, it's about 28 miles to the gallon. And let me tell you something, my friends were telling me, you'd rather have a car than someone to love for the rest of your life. And I said, listen, when I'm driving down the highway and something is wrong with my car, I have a screen and it pops up and it tells me what is wrong with the car. It tells me what it's going to take to fix it, and it goes to my Google Calendar and it schedules an appointment where I bought my car to get it fixed. It's not as if I'm driving along Highway 41, I hear a noise, and my car says, I'm fine! Thank you very much, ladies. That's my time. I left it on for you.
All right, come on, keep it going, people! Nick Brandel! And now let's give a special applause to the